Welcome to the realm of magic and mystery, classic horror and sci-fi. You are now entering the House of the Unusual podcast with your hosts, Eddie and Joe. Welcome all you cool ghouls and friendly fiends. It's the House of the Unusual podcast. I'm your host, Joe Pavlansky. With me, as always, are my good buddies, Eddie Guevara, Chuck Caputo, and Cheri Caputo. What's up, everyone?
All right.
Hello.
All right. Everything's good.
All right, man. So welcome back, everybody. Want to give a shout out to everybody out there listening to us on whatever platform you got on your phone or computer or however your rock, I don't know, your piece of paper, however you're listening to us. Thank you for joining us each and every week. And if this is your first time hearing us, welcome to the podcast. We come out every single week. And hey, we also have a really cool website, houseoftheunusual.com. We have a free forum site there, which is really cool. You can meet a lot of like-minded individuals, post some of your favorite collectibles, and just have a good time. You know, it's just a cool place to hang out. And if you like what we're doing on the show and you want to hear some different stuff, that's the place to let us know. And if you want to be a guest on here, you don't have to be like a, top professional in your field or, some kind of expert, man. All you got to do is just be a fan and, want to talk about the stuff that you like, whether it be comic books, movies, magic, toys, whatever, man. Just hit us up on House of the Unusual to let us know, and we'll get you on the show. All right. So anyways, that's all I got on my end right now. We'll come back and we'll talk about a few other little things. But first off, I want to talk to Chuck and Cheri and see what's new with them. So what's up, you two?
Hey, hi guys.
All right. Yeah, we've been keeping very busy doing a lot of shows, and we filmed two Chuck's Corners in the storage facility, which looks like
our first time.
Yeah, like it looks like a magic shop. So they'll be coming out shortly. Make sure you stay tuned for them. They're going to be in queue, so they'll be coming out next week and the following week, the first two.
And Eddie put on for my sea
monkeys.
monkeys.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah, there's a video out on YouTube under House of Unusual of my sea monkey progression from baby to adulthood. I posted it on the House of Unusual site.
The forum.
Yeah. So I also did a video this morning to show how big they're getting.
Oh, did they get
It's really
big?
cute. It's a real short video for that one from this morning, and it's about 40 seconds long, but you'll see.
I think a couple
so cute.
I think a couple of those are getting a little too chummy. I don't know.
Yeah,
there might be
I think
babies.
spring has sprung.
Yeah. Why? They better be having jobs in there. You better tell them if they're adults, they got to have jobs. Can't just stay around the house all day.
Well, one of them already is a magician, isn't it?
That's right.
Yeah, we got to keep them busy and get them out.
Yeah, listen. If you guys could play around with the phone, because you're coming out with a lot of like echo and it's getting like we can't hear you.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Now you're good. Yeah, just basically see where you see the most bars.
Okay.
Okay. No, I was gonna say the thing that's interesting is, and this is really good, that when you're talking about the sea monkeys, is I saw the thing, and what really blows me away is the amount of hits that Cheri gets right away with the sea monkeys.
I know. I got some sea monkey lovers out there.
You had over 100 views at less than 2 hours. And
I know. Wow. Look at that.
Yeah, sea monkeys are quite the hobby. It's just like magic, I guess.
I'm so excited. It really worked.
My question is that are they really coming to see the sea monkeys, or are they coming to see Chuck perform?
Maybe him.
Sea monkeys.
One of them is called Chucky. One of them is Chucky. So I wonder,
Oh yeah, they're all named after everybody here on the podcast.
Yeah, one's an Italian-looking one. He has like a little goatee, a beard, named Chuck. He's swimming around.
Yeah, and he's got a little magic table he pulls around.
Yeah,
that would be something.
That's cute.
Oh man.
Well, for everyone out there that wants to see those videos, go over to our YouTube channel. Just search in House of the Unusual, and it'll pop up. And please subscribe to us and like our videos. And, just real quick, if you want to start your own sea monkey journey and your own sea monkey family and really get into it and want to buy some different sea monkey stuff, calendars, coffee mugs, T-shirts, whatever, our buddy Todd Machin has a great website, c-monkeys.com, c-monkeys.com, and you could find all your sea monkey stuff there. There's some buttons there. the different feeds and all that, different aquariums, some combination
Cute.
packs, different bowls, a lot of cool stuff. So that's where you want to go find
Yeah.
if you are interested in starting your own sea monkey family.
I'll tell you what, I'm so glad that Todd is still keeping this tradition alive.
Aw,
I mean,
yeah, that
wow.
was so sweet. Todd and Eddie sending that to me for Christmas. I love it.
Yeah.
Yes,
know,
thank you, Todd, wherever you are out there.
Yes, thank you, Todd.
what the thing that's interesting about it is the fact that Mr. Todd there, I had some people go by his house, you know, threaten him and stuff because I didn't get my X-ray glasses.
Oh my
It was
goodness.
like you guys got, so I had the guys go over there and they knocked on his door and they made him talk, and he said he had shipped it to me but at the wrong address.
Oh my word.
So they shook him down for no reason, you know.
Yeah,
And now the people that are gonna pay are the sea monkeys. They'll have to pay for what they did to him, you know.
that's
Yeah.
right.
We just got in, I guess, about 15, maybe 20 minutes ago. We took a 2.4 mile walk in the local cemetery.
Yeah, we
Ooh,
took our little doggy Chance. Not our dog, but our son's
our
dog.
son's dog.
Since my daughter-in-law, the one that's having a baby in June, she was working. And so we took him along with us for a walk.
Yeah.
Wow.
You know
Well,
what I wonder, Chuck and Cheri, with say you're walking through, and this would be a good question for Mike Mesmer out there. So, Mike, if you're listening, you know, we want to hear your answer to this too. So, if you're walking around a cemetery and say you go there maybe one time or even a few times, and you start getting a little bit more familiar in the area, you know, spirits are starting to recognize your face and your energy, and they're like, hey, you know, these two, you know, Chuck and Cheri have been here a few times, you know, walking
Yeah.
their little dog and all that. Maybe we're gonna walk with them.
Yeah.
And you know, maybe one or two spirits start walking behind you, and you
Mm.
know, every different time, you know, the spirits are like, hey, that looks pretty cool, we're gonna come join them. And you might have like 20-30 spirits behind you
Yeah.
following you around the cemetery, you know, but you would never know if you know if you couldn't see them.
Like Fright Night.
Yeah, but you got to wonder, you know, if you have some spirits following you around, you know, getting
Yeah.
their exercise too. So, Mike
Yeah.
Mesmer, if you're listening, man, I'd like to hear what you think
you
about
know,
that. If you know, if we start getting really familiar at cemeteries, or we put out this energy there, if we would start getting, you know, these spirits walking with us, or you know, just kind of hanging out near us, and if there is such a thing as getting more familiar with the area where these spirits would start to recognize you and say, hey, you know, Chuck and Cheri's been here pretty many times. They seem like pretty cool and hip people. You know,
Oh,
we're
yeah.
gonna hang out with them, you know.
I'd be like
Joe,
I'd be like the Pied Piper.
Yeah.
yeah, I was, I was gonna say,
You know
Joe,
what?
you watching too many of those Walking Dead movies?
There you go.
Yeah.
You know
Yeah, if
what's
you
so
start
cool?
seeing zombies, then you know you might have to run.
Yeah, you know what's really weird and so cool is we walk about the same path all the time, pretty much. And we love reading all the different headstones. We say, oh, you know, they're Irish, they're Italian, whatever. And it's so weird because there'll be names that we've never seen before and they're not new. You know what I mean?
Yeah, like they pop
Like
up.
I said, I never saw that Simmons
So,
guy there or whatever. You know, it's really wild. As much as we
well,
walk
Yeah.
there.
well, you know what? I gotta tell you guys something. I just came from St. Augustine, the oldest city in America,
Ooh,
Mm.
yeah.
also filled with spook tours. In fact,
Mhm.
every single place in St. Augustine, like the Ripley's, believe it or not. Now they told me, which I didn't know, that this was the first national official Ripley's, and what I mean official Ripley's was the first stationary Ripley's, believe it or not.
Ooh,
They
wow.
had tents before that, but the first building actually is the one here, which you can tell because the building's like 200 years old. So they have the
Hmm.
Ripley's Ghost Tour, they have the Lighthouse Ghost Tour, they have the City of St. Augustine Ghost Tour. There's a ghost tour for every single attraction.
Wow.
Wow.
Going up, when you're going up of course, I only made it to the first floor of the Lighthouse because it's
Mm.
too tall and I don't like the heights. So my brother went up all the way to the top, right?
Yeah.
So the thing that's funny about it is that it shows a silhouette of a guy in the first floor, and it says the only photograph, meaning of the guy with the beard that they have, is the silhouette, because the guy, they don't have any photographs of him. The guy who actually I think was the original person who kept the lighthouse, or
Oh, yeah.
Oh.
so my brother, has no hair and stuff. He shaves his head and stuff. So I
Mhm.
said, I kept joking with him. I said, I think what happened, because Him and his wife went upstairs, and when they came back down, they couldn't walk. It's 219 stairs. And so his wife was like, my legs are shaking. And I thought it was kind of funny when we came out of Ripley's, believe it or not, I have a back problem. I'm sitting in the thing after 5 hours. I can't, whatever. So me and the wife get out, and we're walking like the Walking Dead,
Zombies.
Yeah. And it was like walking. And Chuck, I think you guys are bringing in feedback there.
Oh.
Yeah, move the phone.
Okay now?
How about now? Can you guys hear me?
I'm hearing the feedback. So
how about over here?
it's still, I don't know. Somebody has feedback. Are you next to a speaker?
No, we're pretty good. Let's move it around a little bit.
Maybe we're too close.
How about now? I'm trying to get it just right. Huh.
That's not us.
No, it's worse. Is that you?
That sounds even worse now. It sounds like you're inside the static on the TV.
Yeah.
That might be me. That might be me. I'll be back.
Oh, wait a minute.
Jason left on. Hey, what's up, Jason?
Oh,
Hey,
I know what it is.
I'll be back in a minute. Let me throw this headset in the garbage.
No. Let me tell you something.
Oh, that's the ghost of Jason. There you
No,
go.
that's what I was going to tell you. Those are the ghosts from St. Augustine that came on board. No, but anyway, the thing that's funny that I was going to say to you guys, I kept joking with him and I kept saying, hey, you know what I think the problem is? I think the problem is that, Joseph, when you were going up the stairs, the light keeper was making its round coming down the stairs. You went through his spirit body, took his hat, and now as you're sleeping in the bed and everywhere you're going, you feel like somebody touching your head. And the light keeper wants his hat back. The reason I said that to him, because he, it was kind of funny. He was sleeping, but he was like half awake, half asleep in the hotel room. And I went up to him and I saw him because I heard he was snoring. So I kind of went up to him and I bent down and I gave him a kiss, right? He's sleeping. And this is kind of funny because he's my little brother. Of course, I'm 18 years older. So, it's kind of funny. So he's sleeping. And then all of a sudden, he noticed it. But I guess he stays. The next day he goes, were you hovering over me last night with a flashlight? So I started the joke. No, that was the light keeper. He wanted his hat back.
That's
I was trying to see if you're wearing it. Yeah, but you know what, Joe? You got to come to St. Augustine, man. I think that would be the place. It'll fit you like a glove.
So yeah, St. Augustine would be cool.
That would.
I tell you what, while you guys were talking, I jumped onto the forum site at House of the Unusual, and I'm checking out that video. Those things look like giant, like jumbo shrimp in there.
Aren't they huge?
Those things are huge.
Big. I know. Did you see the two connected?
Yeah, that's what. Yeah, I'm looking at it now. How we just went across the screen. I'm like, what?
Yeah.
I'm like, what are they doing all connected over there?
Spring is in the air, Joe.
I'm telling you, those things are ginormous. Mine didn't last that long, but they were like little specks. Those are full-grown adults. They're like, I think, lifting weights in the bottom. They're like waiting for Cheri to throw in the steak and potatoes for them.
Muscle food. That's
the protein shakes.
You got it.
My question is, Cheri, how long has it been since you initially put them in?
Let's see. It's been over a month. How maybe?
And they grew that big already?
Yeah, they're big.
Yeah, they're getting really big. They might be taking over the house soon.
I have to build a bedroom for them.
Is there anyone with no hair on top? That might be the Joe one, right?
Yeah.
Oh, poor Joe.
Yeah, those things are absolutely huge. I see looks like a few small ones.
Yeah.
Too, but they're mostly very big. That's
Mm-hmm.
great. How many times a day do you feed them, or how often do you feed them?
Once a week.
Oh,
once a week.
Yeah.
Very small amount.
You just drop a steak and a potato in there and some protein powder.
Yeah, they go to town.
I think the one named Chuck likes spaghetti. I don't know. Yeah,
Chuck throws a bowl of spaghetti and meatballs in there. It just looks like a big smorgasbord of food. And next thing you know, the next day it's completely gone, and you have your sea monkeys in there.
Yeah.
No, I was going to tell you, Cheri, you should do weekly updates on that because people are really tuning into you on that for some reason.
Yeah, possibly. That'd be cool.
And I told
they're
Todd,
loving the sea monkeys, man.
Yeah, at least a couple weeks.
I told Todd about that idea and said, Eddie, there's so many people doing the sea monkey stuff, but for some reason it's really helping us because it's they're getting a lot of views. And you know something, Joe? The funny thing, when I was thinking, Joe, everything that I saw in St. Augustine reminded me of you because it's so much to your liking in that place.
Oh, wow.
It's
Very cool.
it's really, really cool.
Aw.
Yeah, I would love to get down there one day, but
Mm-hmm.
sometimes it's hard to get out of the city that I'm in. 'Cause I tell you, what, the last couple of weeks have been just completely hectic and
Yeah.
almost overwhelming, and it doesn't look like it's stopping until the end of next week. So
Oh,
maybe
boy.
that's when I need to just go down to St. Augustine and well, wouldn't
Well,
it be nice to just lay up on the beach, man, with a cold beer
Yeah.
and a cigar and a nice, horror magazine and or something and
Horror, yeah.
just relax,
well,
man.
the thing with St. Augustine is just how old of a city it is. It was kind of funny because my son goes to me. You know, it's funny. This is so Spanish because it was built by the
Mhm.
Spaniards, and there's not one single Spanish in town, right? It was kind of funny, but I'm going to tell you, Joe, I think you would really enjoy that as much as when you go to the Chiller Theater, or not Chiller Theater, the Monster Pool that you go to,
Bash.
Monster
Mhm.
Bash.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm gonna tell you what, man. Speaking of Monster Bash, they put out the schedule for this June. So
June.
real quick to touch on it, but I don't want to go into it, and people are like, "What the heck's he talking about?" So Monster Bash, if you go to monsterbashnews.com, or you could go, you could find them on Facebook, or you could also go to Creepy Classics. Just type in Creepy Classics and it will pop up. Yeah, creepyclassics.com. But so it's just a classic horror and sci-fi convention they have twice a year, June and October. And it's very family oriented, family friendly. A lot of really cool people. Chuck and Cheri went there last year. We all had a blast watching some old cartoons and all that.
It was a lot of fun. Oh my goodness.
Yeah. So this year is June 16th through the 18th. It's at the Marriott Pittsburgh North, and they do have the full schedule out, which is, I mean, I'm going to tell you what, I'm very excited about this. One of the things I love is kind of like the traditional stuff they have on the first day. At 9 a.m., the 16 millimeter film of monsters we've known and loved, which is kind of like it's a 1964 documentary on the horror movies. Some of the info is outdated and it's kind of, incorrect, because we've learned a lot over the years, but it's really fantastic. And then there's Henry Hall or Cortland Hall and Bill Diamond from the Witches Dungeon. They do a little talk, which is great. But then we got like Frankenstein 1970, The Bride and the Beast from 1958, The Man Who Turned to Stone 1957. We got author Frank Delastrito is going to do a talk, and of course, they have a huge dealer's room with tons of great stuff in there. Collectibles, movies, posters, all that stuff. They have the one of my favorite things is on Friday nights they hand out free tacos. So at 11:30, it's Mexican Monster Night with the new Invisible Man from 1958, which if people out there have never seen these Mexican horror movies, you got to check them out because you are in for a treat. And then there's a late movie that goes on till about 2-3 in the morning. And then Saturday, which was I think Chuck and Cheri's favorite time, was the Saturday morning cartoons and cereal.
Yes.
I tell you what, Joe, that really probably was one of my favorite times.
That was so much fun.
Yeah, the old cartoons,
Scooby Doo,
the
Fruit Loops,
the Bowery Boys, and
yeah,
Three Stooges.
Yeah, I mean that was just watching those old cartoons, especially with a lot of other fans, and getting to eat your cereal while you're watching it, and man, it's just such a good time. But then right after that, they have they continue on with different shows, different movies. There's question and answers like Beverly Washburn. She's coming on at 11 o'clock that day. I tell you what, who else is cool is Stan Gordon. He does a lot with Pennsylvania cryptids. He's coming in to do a talk.
I know him.
Yeah, there's some game shows. And then in the evening, they're doing, I believe it's at 10 o'clock. I'm trying to look here. Oh, they're having Daniel Roebuck this June too. He's going to be signing autographs and doing a Q&A, which I can't wait to meet him. And if anybody knows about Daniel Roebuck, he is an absolutely huge huge classic, monster. He's a monster kid through and through. If you just search him online and type in, Daniel Roebuck collectibles, you could see his old collection, which, he went through some personal stuff and had to auction a lot of it off and lost a lot of it. But he's a monster kid through and through. And then at 10:15 on Saturday, they have the outdoor movie where they put out this huge projector and they're going to play The Monster That Challenged the World from 1957.
Ooh.
So, you could bring your own chair, sit out there and watch the movie under the stars. And, movies just go on. It goes on to late night also. And then Sunday, if you're still there, there's a church service in the morning. They start off with some, Little Rascals, Our Gang shorts, some more movies. And then they have, which is really cool, and I can't wait to see this, at 2:30 p.m. on Sunday, they have a Q&A with Lynn Lugosi, who is the granddaughter of Bela Lugosi.
Oh, look at that.
So that is going to be really cool. I'm very interested to hear what she has to say. And a lot of the movies and TV shows this weekend or that weekend will have to do with Bela Lugosi too. So
cool.
Don't want to miss it. It is a great time. Chuck and Cheri, I mean, do we have not have a great time? Fun time last year.
When is
just
it,
a
Joe?
blast.
We did.
Joe,
It's June 16th through the 18th.
It's a weekend, obviously, right?
Right. Yeah. It goes from Friday morning till Sunday, like late afternoon, early evening.
Okay.
I tell you, the thing that really stood out, Joe, was the people are very nice. I mean,
Oh yeah.
The vendors to the regular,
very approachable and
you know what, the people are talking to. They're very, very friendly. Great.
Yeah, it is. It's definitely a family oriented. And I tell you what, you could go up and even the main guy that runs it, Ron Adams, he runs hectic all weekend. And he's even said before he runs on, 1 to 2 hours of sleep a night because he's just constantly going. And, if you see Ron and you stop to talk to him and say hi or, ask him about a movie or something, he won't hesitate to, to talk with you about a movie or, if you ask him a question about something horror, he loves talking, classic horror and sci-fi. And, here's this man who's running ragged all weekend, but always has time for people there and to interact with the crowd and just, genuinely enjoys it.
Yeah, that I'd say what the friendliness of the people really stood out. Hey, one quick thing. You did mention the Little Rascals, which I'm sure the podcast viewers know. Robert Blake passed away. He was
I seen that. Yeah,
I guess he was the last Little Rascal. I guess.
Really?
Yeah, he's 80.
Was he really?
I believe so. I mean,
no, Chuck. I think also the guy who played Mr. White in Superman, he was also a Little Rascal.
Okay.
I'm talking about Superman, the one with Christopher Reeves.
Right.
Or are you talking about George Reeves?
No, George Reeves is the original Superman from the 50s. The new one that he played Perry White. Yeah, I think it was either Spider-Man or Superman. No, Superman. The guy who played Perry White, he appeared in one of the Rascals.
Oh, in the movies.
No, not in the movies.
The Superman movies?
Right, the Superman movies.
Yeah. Okay.
He played. He was the little guy who used to go, "Yes, Mrs. Crabtree," and he was.
I remember. Yeah.
Yeah. He's that rascal too. Is he dead or I don't know if he died yet.
I don't know. That would be an interesting thing to look up.
I don't know. I'm trying to find it now. Was that Jackie Cooper?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
No, he passed away 2011.
Oh man.
Yeah. I think Robert Blake might have been the last one. Quite a few of them died young. Darla, she was only about 47, 48 when she died. I love that kid they called Chubby. He was really cool. He had a glandular disorder. I think he died when he was only 18 or 19.
Oh my!
In Baltimore, Maryland.
And Alfalfa died with a
gunshot. Yeah.
$5 they owed him.
Yeah, there was tragic ends to quite a few of them.
That's a shame.
But that was a phenomenal series. I mean, I always enjoyed that.
I do too, especially watching it there with a couple people. And you know what? It's really weird because you just never know what type of crowd you're going to get there for the Little Rascals. And they play it on, 16 millimeter, which is really cool. But, sometimes you might get 5 people in there because it's early morning. Everyone's, worn down and all that. Sometimes you'll get 30 people in there. but it's, I'm always there. That's one of I always try to make, make it there to watch Arging because it's one of my favorite. And the Stooges, they always play some Stooges shorts too on 16 millimeter, and another one of my favorites. So that's something I always try to make it there. Hey, Jason, are you on now?
I hope so.
Hey, there you are. What's up, man? How's it going?
Not much. Good. Sunny day. Beautiful out.
Yeah.
I know it's nice here too. It almost, we had snow on the ground this morning when I got home from work, about 2 inches. And when I woke up this afternoon, it's like springtime out.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
I said in one day we go through the whole all seasons.
I know, right?
Yeah. Let me ask Jason a question here because this is up his alley. And wait till you hear this, Joe. Really quick, I'm hoping there's no snow because I do fly home tonight. But I wanted to ask you, Jason, have you come across any new novelties you acquired? Have you come across any books, any karate manuals of the past that only Joe had?
The Joe kept for his secret collection of knowledge.
Yes. I was wondering.
I did track down a set of the Weeder Terror Self-Defense books last couple of days.
Wait, you're gonna need, between you and Joe, Chuck already kind of got a little glimpse of it, but I found him on the storage a little bit of some items that I actually reviewed, and one of them is a book from 1602.
Wow.
That's 1602.
Oh my.
422 years old.
Unbelievable.
The other 4 books are from 1729, and then there's one, and you can tell the skin is made of like parchment, like old parchment. I thought about you because it's up your alley. And then there is a review that I did with over 30 Super 8 and 8 regular 8 millimeter films. And I actually had a projector that I turned on for the first time, a Kodak Cinemat projector from 1950s.
Nice.
My surprise, the bulb worked, and I was able to actually play a Charles Chaplin movie. Before I put it on YouTube, I'm going to try to see if I can make it so you can see the film a little better. I actually played out the entire 3.5 minutes of the 50-foot film. So I know Joe is going to love that because it has a lot of the monsters films there that you love. And there's also 2 or 3 rolls that are 16 millimeter. I explained the difference where you would have in the silent 16 millimeters, you would have double the holes in each side. And when it was sound, you have the record and you only have one side, the reels, the holes, that go around the sprockets of the projectors. But I think, Joe, you're going to really like that. Keep an eye out for it. It lasted 40 minutes. I might break it into 2 parts, but I think you're going to really love that.
Man, I'll tell you what, those 8 millimeter, the old projectors, that brings back memories. When I was a kid, my dad used to make home movies out of the 8 millimeter, and they were great. Yeah, I mean, this goes back to probably early 60s when I was born, and then all the way up to the mid 70s. We used to go places, and they were just so cool. And he had big floodlights for indoors. He had some kind of big lights because it was dark.
Well,
8
millimeters are the projectors that you see Honor House selling that for battery operated.
Yeah.
But in the 70s, like early 70s, the Super 8 started taking over.
Super 8s came in later. Yes.
Yeah, it's really the difference is just the size of the hole. It's the same film. I don't know why Super 8 became more prevalent than 8 millimeter, but that's the thing. You can tell the 8 millimeter has a much hole. And so yeah, Jason. So you were saying bring back a. We lost you, Jason. So you came back.
I'm Tess. Yeah, I'm here.
Okay. So no. Anyway, that's what we were asking to see, and I spent. If you hear about it, when I said the review of the films, and I did have a couple of books, and the oldest book of the bunch is 1602.
Oh my goodness!
So
do you
have
gloves? You have to wear gloves when you're handling the pages, Ed?
I didn't. I should. Those things should be in museums. I don't even know how I even have them open like that.
Wow.
I should have wore gloves, but I can tell you, I have right now, and Joe told me it was this because I called Joe this morning. I said, Joe, I can't breathe. I have asthma. He says, Eddie, that might be some of Columbus's ashes. because the book is
what kind of book is it?
it's a book that came out of Spain, and there's a famous poet guy from Spain that has the last name Quevedo, Quevedo, and he goes back to like William Shakespeare. The guy's like from the early 1600s. And what happened is my brother's last name is Quevedo.
Isn't that something?
I acquired it because of that, whatever reason. But the book, my friend, is so old. It's amazing. You touch it and you could smell the age on it.
Wow.
It's in really good condition it's 421 years old. It's from 1602, so that's 421, right?
Yeah.
So, Joe, it's definitely up your alley, man. All you need is a steak, a coffin, and you're all set, man.
I tell you what, man, talking about those 8mm films, those are one of the things that I always look for when I go to, Monster Bash or any type of other convention, or the little 8mm, film sets that were mostly Castle films at the time.
Right.
Mhm.
And, they did change into the Super 8, but I love trying to find, some of those old horror ones, and you can find them usually pretty cheap. However, there are some that go for a good amount, and it's mostly, you start getting those familiar faces on the cover of, Bela Lugosi Dracula or the Karloff Frankenstein monster. You get some of those, they start going, pretty high. Even, the Lugosi Karloffs, they go high, but mostly you could find them pretty cheap. The Abbott and Costellos, or some of the cartoon ones, from Disney. But they're just absolutely fantastic. I love the front of them, the front of the packaging. It just, how they look. You could either get some that are, illustrated on there, or there might be a scene from the movie on it. They're just very cool. I just love them. They almost look like little posters of the movie in themselves, and they just really pop out, very colorful.
Yeah, Joe, I want to tell you, I did go over. You're going to really like that review. At some, I do have probably another 2 or 3 canisters or more films. I just came across those. I just want to let you know you're going to really love them. They have the horror. They have the Frankenstein, Bela Lugosi. You're going to love them. Mm-hmm. And, Joe, I don't know if you ever, and, I'm going to try to look, because I remember having a couple of the original battery-operated 8mm projectors. They used to play those 50-foot films. And I'm very surprised with the film review that I was doing. A lot of the films, when I opened, I found the original catalogs inside the films that showcased the films you could order. So I got excited about that find.
Yeah, I do have an original 8mm projector still in the box. It's obviously been open, and but the box is very beautiful too. And I tell you what, it's crazy. It still works, after all these years. It just goes to show, how they were made.
Oh, they were made to last. When my dad passed away in 1992, my mother had a whole bunch of 8mm home movies, and so she took it to a company somewhere and had it transferred to a VHS. Now, it would be nice to put that into like a DVD now, but it was really cool. Of course, it was all silent. It was silent, but it was neat.
Well, the thing that I found most interesting about it is when I turned the projector, the light went on. How the heck do you have a light from a 60-year-old projector?
Yeah, it's amazing.
Actually working.
Wow.
That blew my mind. And then when I started playing it in the thing there, I could smell the burnt rubber. but that was just because it hasn't been open in years, but it worked fine. I was careful that the film, I tried a Charles Chaplin film because I wasn't going to try the Dracula one. Or there's such a great part of that collection. I think Joe is going to fall back. And there's a good chance his wife is going to have to revive him with some water.
Oh, yeah.
Once he sees that.
Yeah.
And Jason, are you into old films?
Funny story. I lucked across an old projector one time in a film or two, and I was excited to try it because I hadn't seen a film projector since when I was a kid, and my dad used to show the Laurel and Hardy films. And I powered it up and got it running, and then I looked back 2 minutes later, and there was film all over the place.
Oh,
It was just
no.
unspooling onto the floor, and it's like, oh, this is why we don't use these anymore.
Yeah, see, that's the thing. They would go on the floor, or sometimes it would jam, and the bulb would burn the film. I mean,
Yeah.
that would be flipping out.
You cannot hold it stand still. If you stand, like hold the frame still, it burns right through within 30 seconds.
It burns right through. My dad was screaming already. He goes, "Move that thing!" He's pulling.
But Chuck, I tell you what, when you were at Monster Bath last year, and there was a few TV shows or films on reel, is that not like the best way to watch? In my opinion, I think that's like the coolest way to watch these old films is on.
Yeah, definitely.
On a reel, and it's just, I don't know, just hearing it in the background just really adds to that time frame when the movie came out.
I agree with you 100%.
I absolutely love it, and my good buddy of mine, he's in his 80s right now, and he was a big film and movie buff, and we kind of meet up, try to meet up once a week to talk, have coffee and talk about old films or watch some old serials or whatnot. But he had some projectors that he's trying to get working again, and over the years he hasn't messed with them for decades, so he kind of doesn't know how to do them. And I don't know what to do with projectors. I know there's people out there that specialize them, but I always thought it'd be really cool to have a nice classic horror movie from like the 30s or 40s.
That would be cool.
Put it on a projector, and then in the fall watch it outside, like on the garage or something like that.
That would be cool.
I mean, how cool would that be? Just that whole atmosphere of the fall, and just this horror movie outside with everything, the nice cool breeze, and that would just be it would really set the mood.
Man. Yesterday when I put that projector on, it brought me back to my childhood, and believe it or not, Joe, it sounds crazy, but I was able to thread it. I had no problem. It was just like, and here's the thing I was going to tell you. I have about 7 projectors. One of them is a 16 millimeter one, like the ones they used to use in schools, Chuck, when we were young.
I remember.
They would come with those films that were like 400 feet, the giant films. That was about 20 minutes worth of film.
Yeah.
Joe, we got to bring you up to par on that, buddy. We got to bring you some gifts, man.
Hey, I always take anything for horror movies. And I tell you what, though, they're really, you could find them at conventions, but they're really getting harder to find. So I don't know if people are collectors that have them are just keeping them, or if when they go to shows they're just selling that fast. Because I remember years ago you could find them by the boxes, almost like when you go in and look, people have the VHS tapes and they have 2 or 3 boxes of them. That's how the 8 millimeter and Super 8s used to be. But now it's getting harder to find, and it's really making me mad because I want more Super 8s and 8 millimeters.
Yeah, now you want them.
And especially to find them in a decent condition. Some of them are just are very rough, and I'll even take a rough one as long as the film's kind of salvaged, and you could kind of see the front of it. There might be some water damage or something, but I'd rather have that than not have it at all.
But Joe, I have a 35 millimeter metal canister, like where the film goes, of Abbott and Costello Meet Frankenstein.
Oh.
It's one of those original they used to probably play in the movie theaters, and then they chop them up in pieces, and of course they sell them. And I bought that many, many years ago. I paid, I think, $79 for it, probably 2002, 2003. And I bought it in Toy Shop Magazine. I need to find that. You just reminded me of that, Joe. Now that you said that, you reminded me of that. That's something that's going to be in my agenda now to find it.
Yeah, you got to look around. We had a lot of cartoons. My dad had like the Flintstones. I remember on 8 millimeter. And boxing. My dad liked boxing. He was a big fan of Rocky Marciano back in the 50s. He had a lot of Marciano, Jack Dempsey. It was neat.
I have a Rocky Marciano signed photo autograph, real photograph.
Ooh, wow.
I need to embrace. Huh?
He was probably one of the best fighters that ever lived. I mean, he had the perfect record for 49-0, I believe, 43 knockouts. He was the only undefeated champ, and he was unbelievable. He's from Brockton, Massachusetts. Yeah, he was a very big sports figure in our home growing up.
I'm going to try to get a photograph of that, Chuck, in the next. Well, I'm leaving today. I'm going to try so I can send you the photo of that particular photo. But
he died in a plane crash. He was in a little he was in a little Cessna or something, and he died in 1969, I believe. He was young. He was only about 46.
One thing I could also say to you, Joe, that you're going to really, really like is over here in St. Augustine, every single place I walked in, there was those old-fashioned fortune-telling machines.
Ooh, those
in $1, and then it would be inside a Swami, whatever it was.
Those are. I love seeing those, and those are even getting hard to come by too. And a few years ago we found, and which is really weird. This was maybe about 5-6 years ago at Barnes and Nobles. They had remember the movie Big with Tom Hanks?
Oh
yeah.
The fortune teller that was on there. I can't remember the name of him.
Zoltar,
yeah,
we have that.
Yeah, so Barnes and Nobles did a version of that. I don't think it's actually called Zoltar, but it might be Zoltan. Kind of a play on it.
Is that the large one, Joe, where the full size head is inside the box? And
no.
Okay.
No, this one's only maybe 8 inches, 10 inches tall.
Okay.
It's a pretty small one. It has a little button on the front. And, you could ask it a question and it'll give you, a yes or no, like, Zoltan does not see this in your future or something like that. But what's really weird is me and my wife will mess around every once in a while and we'll ask it a question. And it's it's weird because it's like almost like very accurate. Like what it predicts. So I don't know if it's just like our, our minds playing tricks on us, or maybe this thing actually knows what's up, man.
Well, Joe, your wife still works in Barnes and Noble, I guess, right?
Yes.
Okay, tell her they do have a little Zoltar that's about the size of a deck of cards, and it does talk as well, and it is called Zoltar, and they sell it they sell it over in Barnes and Noble. I bought it about a year ago. The ones you're talking about, they made 4 different ones. I have all 4. I was really a big fanatic for anytime vending machines and stuff. But I'm going to try to see, because I know the one you're talking about. It does say Zoltar on it, believe it or not. And my favorite one was the one it's called the Hypnotic Eye. It had like a big giant eyeball. And it's about 8 inches tall, like you said. And it had the music, really, really cool. But in other words, Joe, you can still get that small one. So you should look at it, because I think they have it still.
Yeah. I got the big one, guys, where it was made by Jimmy about 12 years ago. It's the big Zoltan where the curtain opens up like he's inside of a big theater type of thing. It's pretty large. His head is life size, and
Does it still work?
Yeah, his head will move back and forth.
Is that going to go in your store?
I'm going to try to put it in this.
Chuck, I bought that. I actually bought 2 of them, and then after I did, I paid $39 a piece, and I don't know what came over me that I returned both of them. Oh. I want to shoot myself to this day, because I've never seen them again. It's like very hard, and when they do come across, they're like $200.
Yeah, those are really neat. If I'm not mistaken, Eddie, it comes with a microphone, because when I used to put on spooky shows for the kids, like my Halloween time, I'd hide around the corner, and you could speak through the microphone as a wireless mic, and his mouth would move with your voice coming through it.
Right, so you're correct. But that was the second version, Chuck. There's 2 versions of it. One talked by itself, and then you could buy the one. I didn't have the one with the microphone. I had the one that talks by itself.
What? It was a nice toy. I think Jimmy did a really good job on there.
Well, if any of you guys are interested, there is on eBay right now a rare 1969 Profitron Zoltan fortune teller for coin operated arcade.
What's the price of it? What?
$999.99.
I'll buy it.
That's really not too bad.
With $305.71 for shipping, and it is just the I don't know if this was supposed to go onto a machine, but it's just the kind of body of Zoltan with the ball. You'll have to look at it, Chuck. If you just go on eBay and type in Zoltan fortune teller, it'll pop up. It's the most expensive one.
The one that actually owned Joe and Chuck and Joe and Cheri, all those Joes. So there's so many Joes. David Habersat, actually in his collection, he had several of them. He's had every single one of them. He would buy them and then sell them for thousands. But yeah, there was a time like fortune telling machines. If you look at the original Go Ship Times newsletter that I sent you, Joe and Chuck, there's a whole section in there about fortune telling machines. Because I did a big article on that back then.
Oh. I see the one you're talking about, Joe. I see it on eBay right now.
99999.
Yeah, was that supposed to go to a larger machine or?
Yeah, I think it
from
was.
Guessing?
Yeah, I think the guts are missing there. Yeah, that's 1969.
Yeah, so
you
whoever it is, you make them put the machine together and you build it. You know.
You got to wonder what happened with the rest of the machine.
Yeah.
You know why it's only that little, part of it. If I don't know if maybe the machine got damaged or they just, I don't know, maybe took it out, said, I'll just take this, put it up on the shelf and, screw the rest of it.
When I was a kid, Joe, about Kennywood Park out here, they had a penny arcade back then, and they had a neat fortune telling machine, all kinds of neat things of that nature. That was a lot of fun. That was really cool.
Yeah, I tell you what, this would be, I don't know, for anybody out there that's into, arcade stuff for the fortune tellers, this would be a pretty cool piece because it doesn't look very, I mean, you could definitely tell it's worn, but for the most part, the paint on it's still pretty nice.
Pretty good. And of course, the one thing that scared me at all the theme parks I went to when I was a kid was Laughing Cell. Oh, man.
Oh, my gosh. Yeah, the big.
Woo!
Yeah, you know something? Well, when you're talking about Joe and all that stuff, whenever, and this is kind of interesting because I go into my cousin's house yesterday, and I was shocked. She's got a full-size asteroids machine, the vending ones with the money,
Wow.
I'm like, where did you get this? And it kind of gets me mad, too, because there was one they were selling me back, I don't know, 20 years ago, 30 years ago, and they were only selling it to me for $350, man. I'm talking about the real arcade ones that were in stores. And there was an arcade business going out of business. And they were selling you could get Missile Command for, I think it was $760. You could get Asteroids and Space Invaders. The Asteroid was $369 because I asked. And it was right next to my house. I could have thrown it in the car. My wife said, "You're not getting that. You're not getting that." And I did it. Now I cry.
There you go.
I love Invaders.
Yeah, Space Invaders was neat. I think there's
and Centipede was my favorite.
Centipede.
Oh, I love that.
There's actually two places here in Pittsburgh, God willing, in the future. I was talking about possibly going there with Cheri, where they have just all pinball machines. I mean, it's like old ones,
we love pinball.
Vintage ones, all the way up to the current contemporary.
Where's that at, honey?
I think in Zelian-Opal or something.
Oh, okay.
It would be really cool to go there.
When you talk about pinballs, they had the Haunted House pinball machine there. You remember that?
Oh, I love it.
I was asking for $945 for that one. Today, you can't get it for under $7,000-8,000.
Oh no!
Why didn't I buy it? It's all Joe's fault.
Hey, Chuck, Chuck, on eBay they have a Laughing Cell.
Really?
And it's not the it looks like just a cardboard cutout. It says it's from a Euclid Beach Amusement Park. I'm trying to see if they have it. It is it's a wood miniature. 6x4x1 weighs 5.4 ounces, and it says it's the actual Euclid Beach Laughing Cell. That says it's still in Cleveland, but I tell you what, this looks pretty cool, and it says it was from 1998, but it's very freaky looking. Well, I don't know if anybody likes Laughing Cell. This would be a really
look.
Cool gift. You see it? You see it up there, Chuck?
Yeah, I think I see it. That's cool.
Chuck made one.
Yeah.
$21?
Yeah, I did build one, and
you have
it's
one
like it's like a miniature tabletop one,
yeah.
And creepy, man. That thing is creepy. They were made by the Philadelphia Toboggan Company. I think it started back in the early 30s, and they were taller than you think. The Laughing Cell figure was like 6'10".
Oh, wait a minute, that's a postcard.
Yeah.
The toboggan thing you're talking about is the ones that made the for all the haunted houses, all the dark rides. They made the carts you sit in. What do you call that? The doom buggies.
Right, right.
So that company's out of Philadelphia, correct?
Yes, that's out of Philadelphia.
Toboggan. Yeah, it's still in business, by the way.
It's still in business, yeah. But they made the laughing cells, and there's not many that actually made it through. Because most of the amusement parks went out of business, and they put these things in storage, and they just fell apart. Some theme parks caught on fire, so there wasn't many that lasted.
Kennywood still has theirs, right?
Yeah, Kennywood Park
Here
out here in Pittsburgh, in West Mifflin, Pennsylvania, they still have theirs. And creepy.
I wonder if do you guys remember Idora Park in Youngstown?
No,
that doesn't ring a bell.
I wonder if they had a laughing cell. Now the place, it because you mentioned catching fire, but it caught fire. I believe it was 1984, and they lost a lot of their original stuff. And everything was pretty much wooden back then.
Right.
But they did salvage a good majority of their games and all that. I know a buddy of mine, he had a few of the games from there, some of the real old ones from the 20s and 30s. But you got to wonder how much if they had a laughing cell there, if that was destroyed, or if they had a fortune teller, if it was destroyed, because I guess it was a huge sweeping fire that took down a lot of stuff. So and I'm sure a lot of amusement parks were like that, because they were mostly wood, probably highly lacquered and all that, and would go up real quick in flame. So it sucks to think about the stuff that was lost in fires like that.
Absolutely, yes.
You got to see, Joe, especially in your area. You might encounter a lot of those smoke shops and stuff in your area that have those things.
Well, there is an Idora Park museum that has a lot of stuff, and I know the people that owned it are retiring, and I believe they're trying to work something out with the Mahoning County Historical Society to transfer all this Idora Park stuff. But there is a lot of, we'll put it this way, there's a lot of Idora Park stuff out there, but people hold on to it, and it's and it's mostly older people, and they hold on to it because of the memories that come with it and the memories of the park. So it's very hard to find Idora Park stuff. I know when my buddy was selling his stuff, because he was getting older and his wife was sick, so he needed to sell off the majority of his collection.
Yeah.
And he asked me about the Idora, and I said, you know what? I said, I really like it, but I have no place to put it in my house, and I'm very limited on, I kind of just trying to stick with horror and sci-fi stuff. I said, there's somebody out there that would enjoy it more and appreciate it more than I would. I said, I would take care of it and all that, but I don't remember Idora Park. I guess when I was there, I was like 2 or 3 years old with my parents.
Mm-hmm.
I said, but there's people there that, people out there that are older that do remember it and would appreciate this, and it would probably bring back some good memories to it, to them. So he did put it out for sale, and everything went within a few days. I mean,
good.
Quick. It went so quick. I couldn't believe it. He had an actual wooden plank from one of the roller coasters everything just sold so quick. It was unreal. So there's people out there that collect it, but I'm sure all over the United States where you have all these little amusement parks, that are like in Northeast Ohio or where Idora Park was, or wherever else, there's still a group of people that have a fondness for those amusement parks, and they collect, all the memorabilia that comes with it. They wouldn't go say, hey, you're not going to find someone in California that says, yeah, I want some Idora Park stuff. They probably have their own little park there that they collect the same thing with people, around here. And then, you guys with Kennywood and, people on the East Coast with, Coney Island, all that. So
if you ever make it to Pittsburgh, the Heinz History Center, downtown Pittsburgh, they opened up a few years back, and they have a lot of memorabilia from Kennywood and all this stuff. They have a few of the roller coasters.
Rogers.
Yeah, the Mr. Rogers neighborhood.
They have a trolley.
The trolley.
Yeah, someone had told me about that, and I haven't been able to make it out there yet, but it's on my list. I heard they have a ton of cool stuff there. The Mr. Rogers stuff would be really nice to see.
Oh, right. Joe, a
So
question.
cool.
You couldn't convince your wife to keep that stuff in her side of the room if you took it?
I wish. No, it wasn't coming here. It just wasn't. This stuff wasn't for me. No, it was somebody else out there enjoyed it a lot more.
You could have put it on your wife's side of the room and told her how nice it looks on her side.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's all she needs is a laughing cell over there.
Yeah, really.
Let me bring something up to the table real nice. It's funny. I'm going home with a bunch of stuff I bought.
Oh.
I bought so much stuff that I have an extra case that I have to actually put in the bottom of the plane. It weighs so far 37 pounds. So I want you to think about this. I got so lucky that my wife happens to have to stay in my daughter's house tonight to take care of the baby tomorrow. So that means that her brother's picking me up. This means that she cannot see the box. And I have enough time to put it in the fridge before she gets home.
Oh my goodness. Wow.
Wow.
Perfect crime.
Wow. Jason.
Yeah.
Where do you live?
Canada.
Oh, do you have like amusement parks up there?
Not many. I don't know why. I mean, we have Canada's Wonderland outside Toronto, but it doesn't have any of the history that the ones in the US have, really. I think it was built much later.
Okay.
I think that the culture just wasn't there when those parks were being built out. When we have Niagara Falls, and that's got some stuff going on, but
the wax museums and that's pretty cool.
Oh, you can always jump off Niagara Falls in a barrel. That'll be fun.
God.
I know a lot of people come over from Canada to what's it, Cedar Point up in Sandusky.
Oh, that's
yeah, they get a ton there, and I'm sure there's some that come over to the United States for some of the closer attractions and all that. But yeah, the Canada side of Niagara Falls, they have a lot of cool wax museums. I remember going to one, I don't know, maybe 18 years ago. It had all like slasher fit, like Jason. It had Freddy, Leatherface, and it had Dracula. So all these monsters from movies in there. And I had this really cool poster, and I have it somewhere. I gotta find it because it would be cool to frame. It's in black and white, and it's of all the monsters sitting at a table, like 30 of them, and there's like body parts everywhere. It looks like they're eating, but it's like a mashup of like the old monsters all the way through the 1980s. So it's pretty cool.
I thought you were going to say they were playing poker like the dogs at the table.
Yeah, really. But I tell you what, I was very disappointed in. I went to one of the what the heck was it? It was like one of the haunted houses up there, and I'm like, man, I haven't been in a haunted house in a while. This is gonna be really cool. And it was just basically one guy running around from beginning to end, doing all the stuff up there. I'm like, man, I want my money back. This was horrible. I think there was like only 3 rooms of stuff in there, and it was just this guy, running around at the end. He's out of breath. And
yeah, that guy deserved the money. He was working hard.
Yeah, really. Yeah, he was out of breath at the end and everything. And I'm
Joe,
like,
is this in Canada? Is this in the Canadian side?
Yeah, Canadian side.
Joe, you should have gone to the Caputo's Wax Museum up there, the famous magician.
Yeah.
I guess they couldn't find workers, huh? Oh my goodness.
Wow.
Yeah, I don't know. Or they just said, hey, we're gonna have this one guy's gonna do it all. But hey, guys, we got about 2 minutes left here, so I'm gonna wrap things up. I want to thank everybody for coming out and playing with us tonight. We had a great conversation, some really cool stuff. A lot of memories come back, and I might have to go look at my 8mm after this and just sit there and kind of stare at all the artwork on them and everything, and think about how cool it would have been to have been a child to get one of these for Christmas or something, throw it on your projector and watch it on your wall. Because, if you didn't have a TV or anything back then, this would have been your form of entertainment. You set down your Monster magazine and you threw on this, Castle Films Frankenstein and, watched a few minutes of it in silence. But, a lot of cool memories with that. And it's always cool talking about this stuff because it makes me even want to dig more into my collection and appreciate the stuff a little bit more. And so thank you guys for this conversation. It's been really fun and informative. All of our listeners out there, thank you so much for joining us. Whatever platform you're listening to us on, please subscribe to us. Give us a good 5-star review if you're liking what you're doing out there. Also, real quick, which I forgot to mention at the beginning, Stupid Magazine came out with number 8. It's already shipped. I have mine in hand. I know a few other people have theirs in hand out there, but go to stupidcomicsmagazine.com, and that's stupid spelled STOOPID, stupidcomicsmagazine.com. Grab your latest issue, number 8. absolutely fantastic. And guys, that's all that I got for us. So Eddie, Chuck, Cheri, Jason, thanks for stopping by. Thanks for the great conversation. Hope everybody has a great week, and I'll hear from everybody next week. So good night.
God bless everybody. Good night.
Good night.
God bless.
Bye.